Imagine a specific kind of exhaustion, not the tiredness that lives in your muscles after a long day, not the heaviness that sleep can fix. This one lives deeper. It settles behind your ribs, in the quiet space where hope is supposed to be. It is the exhaustion of being the strong one. You are the person everyone calls when their world tilts sideways, the reliable one. The calm voice in the storm, the one who answers the phone at 2 a.m., who loans the money, who mediates the arguments, who cleans up messes you didn't create. People look at you with relief and say, "I don't know what I would do without you." And for a moment, that feels like love. It feels like purpose. It feels like proof that you matter. But then the crisis ends. The noise fades. Everyone returns to their lives and you're left alone with a strange hollow ache. A question rises that you rarely dare to ask out loud. Who takes care of me? Sometimes it shows up as resentment you're ashamed to feel. Sometimes as a quiet panic when things are finally calm. Because when no one needs saving, you don't quite recognize your own reflection. You don't know who you are without a problem to solve. If this sounds familiar, you might not just be kind. You might be caught in something more subtle and more dangerous. The caregiver trap. An addiction to being needed. A life organized around fixing others so you never have to face yourself. Today, we're going to look gently and honestly at how virtue can become a cage and how the role of the helper can slowly erase the person underneath. Psychology often celebrates altruism as one of the highest human virtues. We are taught that to give is noble, that to sacrifice is admirable, that the good person is the one who puts others first. But there is a quiet line where kindness stops being a choice and becomes a compulsion. Researchers call this pathological altruism, when the urge to help is no longer guided by wisdom, but by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being unnecessary, fear of discovering that you might not be enough on your own. There are signs that reveal this shift. First, your self-worth becomes transactional. You don't feel valuable simply for existing. You feel valuable when you're useful. Love begins to feel like a paycheck you must earn, favor by favor. Second, you develop a double standard. You forgive almost anything in others. Lies, neglect, irresponsibility, because they're going through a hard time. Yet a small mistake from you feels unforgivable. Compassion flows outward, never inward. And third, there is what many describe as the void. Notice how you feel when the people around you are finally okay. When no one needs advice, money, or rescue, do you feel peaceful or strangely invisible? For someone addicted to being needed, calm can feel like abandonment. Neuroscience offers a clue. Each time you solve a crisis, your brain rewards you with dopamine, the same chemical released by gambling or social media likes. Over time, you learn to rely on other people's emergencies to regulate your own emotions. You don't love chaos, you love the feeling of resolving it. That is how kindness quietly turns into a dependency, and how the helper becomes the one in need of help. This addiction to being needed does not grow in a vacuum. In America, it is quietly fertilized by the culture itself. From childhood, we are taught a subtle equation. Your worth equals your usefulness. We celebrate the hustler who never rests, the mother who sacrifices everything, the nurse who works double shifts, the friend who always shows up. In churches, communities, and workplaces, the helper is praised as a hero. No one warns that heroes rarely sleep. For many eldest daughters especially, love felt like a job description. You became the second parent, the translator for immigrant families, the emotional glue holding everyone together. Compliments didn't sound like, "You are loved." They sounded like, "We couldn't survive without you." And so usefulness slowly replaced identity. In this culture, boundaries can look selfish. Rest can feel like failure. To say "I can't" can sound like betrayal. The message is everywhere. Good people carry more, endure more, give more. But beneath the applause, something fragile forms. a belief that being ordinary is unacceptable, that simply existing is not enough. Many caregivers are not chasing admiration, they are running from invisibility. Understanding this context matters, because what feels like a personal flaw is often a cultural script we never agreed to read aloud. No one is born believing they must earn love through service. That belief is taught, quietly, early, and usually without words. Psychologists call this parentification, the moment a child becomes the emotional caretaker of the adults around them. It can happen in obvious ways, a parent struggling with addiction, depression, or financial chaos. But it can also be subtle. A lonely mother who treats her child like a best friend, a father who unloads adult worries onto small shoulders, a family that needs the oldest to keep the peace. You learn to read a room the way other children learn to play. The sound of a door closing told you everything. A sigh, a tone of voice, the clink of a glass in the sink. You knew whether to be invisible or to step in and fix things. Your needs slowly became inconvenient. Your feelings felt too loud. So you grew careful, useful, quietly essential. Children in these homes absorb a brutal lesson. Love is not given, it is earned. There are different forms of this burden. Some children became emotional therapists, soothing their parents' fears. Others handled adult tasks, paying bills, caring for siblings, translating for immigrant families. And some simply became the peacemakers, swallowing their own anger to keep the household stable. Over time, this survival strategy hardened into identity. As an adult, you may find stable people strangely uninteresting, even boring. Calm relationships feel unfamiliar, almost unsafe. Instead, you're drawn to the broken birds, those whose chaos mirrors the world you first learned to navigate. You tell yourself you fell in love with their potential, but deeper down, something else is at work. As long as someone needs fixing, they cannot leave you. The child who once kept the family together is still steering your choices, searching for the only language of love they were ever taught, usefulness. The addiction to being needed does not look the same on everyone. It wears different masks, shaped by personality and circumstance, yet beneath those masks, the same quiet hunger lives. The emotional paramedic is the first face. This person is drawn to emergencies the way others are drawn to safety. When a friend is spiraling at midnight, they arrive with advice, money, or a couch to sleep on. Calm makes them restless. Crisis makes them feel alive. They don't plan to rescue. It simply feels like breathing. The manager of adults is the second. They organize other people's lives, scheduling appointments, fixing finances, reminding partners to eat, to call their mother, to show up. Surrounded by capable adults, they still behave like the only grown-up in the room. Responsibility clings to them like a second skin. The peacekeeper comes next. Conflict terrifies them. They soften voices, translate emotions, swallow their own anger so no one else has to feel uncomfortable. At family dinners and workplaces, they become human bridges, believing harmony is their personal assignment. And finally, the invisible martyr. This caregiver gives in silence, doing favors no one asked for, anticipating needs before they're spoken. They rarely complain, yet secretly keep a ledger of everything they've sacrificed, hoping one day someone will notice. Each face looks generous from the outside, but listen closely and you'll hear the same sentence beneath them all. If I stop doing, will I stop mattering? Recognizing your face in this mirror is not a condemnation. It is simply the first honest step toward understanding how helping became your identity. It is uncomfortable to admit, but there is often a quiet ego hiding inside the role of the helper. When you are the one who fixes, you hold a subtle kind of power. You become necessary, consulted, depended on, and necessity can feel safer than love, because love can leave, but dependence usually stays. Many caregivers tell themselves, I just want what's best for them. Yet beneath that sentence can live another, softer truth. I need them to need me, Helping can become a way to stay in control without appearing controlling. If you manage someone's emotions, finances, or decisions, the relationship remains unequal, and unequal relationships feel familiar. Equality, on the other hand, can feel frighteningly unpredictable. There is also the comfort of moral superiority. The rescuer looks good in the story. You are the responsible one, the generous one, the adult in the room. Admitting anger, jealousy, or the desire to be chosen, not needed, can threaten that self-image. None of this makes you a bad person. It makes you human. But honesty matters. Sometimes we help not only to lift others up, but to keep ourselves from falling down. Seeing this hidden ego is not shame, it is clarity. And clarity is where change quietly begins. Helping can quietly cross a line where it stops strengthening someone and begins weakening them. This is the territory of enabling, love that removes consequences instead of offering support. Think of the partner who calls in sick for a spouse hungover again, the parent who pays an adult child's rent month after month, the friend who lies to cover another friend's mistakes at work. Each act feels kind in the moment. Each one also teaches a silent lesson. You don't need to change. I will absorb the cost. Psychology describes this pattern through the Karpman drama triangle, where three roles rotate endlessly: victim, rescuer, and persecutor. You begin as the rescuer, rushing in with solutions. The person you help becomes comfortable in the victim seat, protected from reality. But when exhaustion finally makes you ask for responsibility, you suddenly look like the persecutor, demanding, critical, not supportive anymore. Then the story flips. You feel used and unappreciated. Now you are the victim crying, "After everything I've done for you." No one planned this. The triangle built itself, one well-intentioned favor at a time. The painful truth is this: by constantly saving someone, you may be stealing the very growth they need to survive without you. And you may be teaching them, unintentionally, that your needs will always come last. Love that disables is not love. It is fear wearing a gentle face. If rescuing others leaves you exhausted, why does stopping feel even worse? Attachment theory offers a quiet answer. Many caregivers carry an anxious attachment style, a nervous system that learned early that connection is fragile. Love had to be maintained through effort, vigilance, and usefulness. Detachment, therefore, does not feel like freedom. It feels like danger. This is why boundaries can trigger panic. When you say no, your body may react as if you've abandoned someone, or worse, as if you're about to be abandoned yourself. The fear is older than the present relationship. It belongs to the child who once believed closeness depended on performance. Trauma bonds deepen this pull. In chaotic relationships, affection arrives in unpredictable bursts. Kindness followed by neglect, gratitude followed by blame. That inconsistency creates powerful emotional hooks, much like intermittent rewards in gambling. You keep helping, hoping the next crisis will finally earn lasting love. And beneath it all lies a terrifying question. If I stop carrying everyone, what will I have to carry inside myself? Focusing on other people's problems becomes a brilliant distraction. As long as you're busy fixing, you don't have to face your own loneliness, grief, or unfinished dreams. The role of caregiver becomes armor against your own wounds. Letting go, then, is not laziness. It is exposure, standing without the shield that once kept you safe. Healing from the addiction to being needed does not mean becoming cold or selfish. It means learning a different language of love, one that supports without swallowing you whole. The first skill is boundaries as sentences, not long explanations, not apologies wrapped in guilt, simple, steady words. I care about you, but I can't do this for you. I trust you can handle it. I'll support you, not rescue you. These phrases may feel foreign at first. Your voice might shake. That is normal. Boundaries are muscles you've never been allowed to use. Next is the 24-hour delay rule. When someone asks for urgent help, pause before answering. Tell them, "Let me think about what I can realistically offer." Most crises shrink in size when you give them time. You learn that every emergency does not require your body as the solution. Then comes guilt exposure. Guilt will visit whenever you choose yourself. Instead of obeying it, practice sitting with it for 5 minutes. Notice how it rises and falls like weather. Feelings are not commands. A powerful exercise is the needs inventory. Write 3 lists. 1. What I give to others. 2. What I hope to receive. 3. What I actually receive. The gaps between those columns are not failures. They are maps showing where you have disappeared. Learn the art of detaching with love. You can care deeply without taking ownership of someone's choices. Support can sound like, "I'm here with you," instead of, "I'll fix this for you." When you step back, you give others the dignity of their own journey. And finally, practice reparenting yourself. Speak to that younger part of you who believed usefulness was the price of love. You are enough even when you're resting. You don't have to earn your seat at the table of life. Moving from caretaker to partner is not a single decision. It is a series of small brave moments where you choose connection without disappearing. There is a quiet freedom in realizing you were never meant to be the emergency system of the universe. The sky will not fall if you put it down. The people who truly love you will not disappear when you stop carrying their weight. They will finally meet the real you. To be useless in the old language simply means to be human. To rest without apology. To love without disappearing. To let others walk their own difficult roads while you walk yours. Some will be uncomfortable with this new version of you. They may call you selfish because they benefited from your self-erasure. Let them. Their disappointment is not a verdict on your worth. What matters is that you begin to ask a different question. Not, who needs me, but what kind of life do I need? And then slowly build from there. If this story felt familiar, you are not alone. Many of us were taught to survive by serving, and we are learning together how to live instead of perform. If this video spoke to something in your own heart, consider subscribing to the channel so we can continue these honest conversations about the quiet parts of being human. And I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me, which face of the caregiver did you recognize in yourself today? You don't have to save the world to deserve a place in it. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply be. Thank you for watching.